So what are some of those? What would you say are what are some of like the values and goals that society wants us to work towards?
What you own is what you're worth.
Yeah. The perfect job, the perfect family, the perfect house, the perfect, the all-American everything, when unfortunately some of us don't want that. Some people have these amazing jobs and they have these, like trophy husbands or trophy wives and the perfect straight A children and the big house and they have everything
they're the ones
a
that end up
person
cheating
could
and leaving
want. But yet at the end of the day, they're absolutely miserable because the one thing that they don't have is passion.
Ooh, I like that.
That's powerful. There's another thing that I was going to say too is snowballing on what you're saying about what society tells us that we need is to consume more.
Yes.
We're supposed to consume as much as we can. That's what we're taught. The more we consume, the more we'll get the I am thing. The more we consume, the more
that's what I was going to say.
I am. That is one of the ways that really ties you up into like such a you're in a box and you're in chains, but you just don't know it. Because the more that you
because they told you it's normal.
They tell you it's normal. This is a normal way to be. The more you consume that, you are on your path to being a righteous, good human being. That is not the case.
American.
American. You are American if you're striving for this American dream. And that's just not reality, because reality is that's not the reason why we were created.
The thing is we're not born that way. Think about it. Children can have nothing and find they can find beauty out of a flower. They can find beauty out of a tree. Children can find beauty out of anything, but it's like as they get older, society beats it in their head that they have to have the nicest car, the most money, the nicest cell phone. Why do we continue to freaking force that into children's heads? We're not born like that. Just like an I am. That was one of the biggest things I picked up from I am. We humans are the only living being that take more than we need. Because we will never have enough. Why isn't just having enough to get by enough?
Well, this is so powerful because in order to continue to sell, I have to convince you that you're not good enough.
Exactly. You have to tell me that I'm going to get wrinkles on my face so that I will buy your face cream.
That's right.
Or you have to tell me that my summer body is not perfect so that I'll go get a boob job.
Okay, this you just brought up something very interesting to me, because it's like I feel like that insecurity is rooted in us. But so when someone says, "Oh, you're not good enough," we say, "I know, right?" Instead of being like, "Haha, you're funny. Try again."
Right. But the reason that is because at 2 years old we're watching Sesame Street, and when the commercials come on. We're still watching TV today, and TV has commercials, and every single commercial is trying to sell you something. When people are trying to sell you something, it's because it's something that you don't have, you need, or you have it, but it's not good enough. So it's like all commercials are doing are telling you that you need something that you don't have, that you're not good enough. You need Botox because you have wrinkles. Your ankles? Yeah. Perfect ankles. No, I think plastic surgery is the result of people feeling not good enough. Yeah. And honestly, I have my insecurities.
Everybody does.
I have huge insecurities that I put on a mask every single day and act like I don't. But it's honestly if I were to go get that fixed under the knife, what's next? It's not like I'm going to get this and this fixed and I feel perfect. No, I'll never feel perfect. Right. When one thing gets fixed, I'm going to hate another thing about myself. Right. You eventually just have to come to appreciate who you are, and you have to stop letting people tell you that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not whatever.
There's a tremendous amount of power in being told either directly or indirectly, you're not good enough. So buy my thing, and that way you can be cool. And be able to say, well, thank you very much for your opinion. I happen to know that I'm pretty all right.
That I don't need it.
That I'm good.
That I'm pretty awesome.
It's like, look at me.
Honestly,
one person in my life told me that I was worthless and would amount to nothing, and it traumatized 20 years of my life. That's giving someone else way too much power over.
And honestly, speaking from experience of 2 weeks ago, when somebody makes you feel that much like absolutely nothing, especially for me. You tell me I'm not good enough, you tell me that I will amount to nothing, I will spend my entire life proving you wrong.
And that's what I do.
Is that what they said?
In more or less words. So, yeah, I mean, when people, it hurts at the time, you know, I have never had somebody make me feel like such absolute trash that they walk on. It hurt for days, it hurt for a long time. Honestly though, it's coming back up with a vengeance. Like, because, you know, when somebody makes you feel like such like nothing, you have nowhere to go but up.
Well, I think that's, I mean...
And, you know, people tell us we're not good enough all the time. And, you know, whether it's in relationships or whether it's on the TV, them telling us that we need to color our hair because our roots are showing, whether it's anything like that, every single day we're being told that we're not good enough.
We start off with having something that is so pure, so organic, something that is actually really trying to do something good. And someone with that warped perception of what society has bestowed upon them comes in and takes this great thing and completely brainwashes that whole thing and wipes everything good about it out of it. And it becomes this negative thing, and it's happening in so many different things. Media, you know what I mean? Like, cell phones were originally like a great thing to be able to be like, okay, I can call this person, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, everybody's constantly on their phone. You can't have a normal...
Do you know how sad it is? I work at a restaurant, and literally I sit there and watch families of 4 or 6 sit there, all of them on their phone.
Their phone has a...
And it's like you don't know how to communicate to each other anymore.
Like, ding, so...
No, I literally walk up to tables and all 4 of them are sitting there texting or tweeting or whatever, and I'm like, why don't we know how to socialize with each other anymore?
I think this is the reason that this right here was so important to me, being authentic, because it's like being true to what the original idea was. So, you know, you have all these different forms. You have like the media, you have plastic surgery, you have all these things that were overrun by this corrupt, idiotic way of thinking. You know, but if they just stayed authentic to what they were about, authentic to themselves and what their purpose was, that would not have happened. But it's like, it's this right here. This is what sparks that, because people aren't aware that it's even happening. Like, we're completely unaware. You know what I mean?
There's times where I wish I could have like been born in such a younger generation, like back before there were cities, back before when it was so small, and obviously without the racial segregation. But you know, that aside, I just wish I could have been born in a simpler time sometimes, because I get tired sometimes. I really do. I just get tired. I get tired of trying so hard.
I feel like every generation has its issues.
Yeah, you know? Well, I get tired of like every single month it's like a struggle to raise all the money to pay all my bills, and oh great, it's the end of the month, and let's just start again. It gets tiring. And I just don't want to live like that anymore. And I mean, it's funny, like you were talking about, you know, what are you pursuing? What are you, back full circle to the beginning, what are you pursuing? And yeah, I would love to live a very comfy, like, rich lifestyle. But it has nothing to do with me wanting to be rich and smarmy and fancy. It's just the fact that I'm tired of trying, and I would like to give my family a comfortable life, and I would like, and not even just my partner and I, like my mom and my dad, like, I see how hard they've worked for me and tried for me and everything and raised our family. And like, I don't want to just give myself a comfortable life. I want to have enough money to give them a comfortable life too, and everyone around me, and help the people that I care about. I'm just so tired of struggling and trying so hard for like nothing.
Well, Liv, let me ask you this. Think about this struggle, right? And I'm just going to throw this out there. So I always imagine, like, what would a world be like if everyone was free of these very constraining things, right? And everyone was free to pursue their passions, to discover their gifts, to cultivate them, and to contribute them to make a difference. What would that world look like? It would be beyond what I think anyone can imagine.
Everybody would be artists.
Artists, happy, right?
Everybody would find their true talent, because I don't think enough people have the time to find theirs.
Yeah.
The time. That should be our next topic for next week, if possible, or one of these. Time. Do people have the time to do anything?
Right.
How important time is for oneself.
Yeah.
Time.
Like what you were saying, why can't I do something to better myself? It has nothing to do with the system that I'm trying to buy into.
Yeah. Well, through all my childhood stuff, I gained a lot of weight when I was in college, starting to change things. I decided to lose some weight. I lost about 50 pounds, and I looked really good. And so people were complimenting me and everything, and it was great. And then someone asked me if I was eating, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you've lost all this weight. And I'm like, it's called working out. Like, I'm not allowed to do that. Because I was normally overweight, because I lost this weight, suddenly I'm doing something bad to myself. That's the
judgmental
mindset.
people.
Yeah, that's the mindset that society has. You're
That
doing
should be a
something good for yourself, so there must be a
Judgments.
problem.
Judgment.
Yeah, that's a warped
That-
perception. That's a very big warped perception.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that we'll buy into that and be like, well, maybe we don't need to do anything that empowers ourselves and betters ourselves because we're gonna get feedback that really isn't empowering whatsoever.
Well,
You know?
and then that comes back to the fact that you're trapped. You
Well,
feel
no
bad about
matter
yourself and you
what-
want to change
yeah.
it, but you're afraid to change it because you're afraid people will judge you.
No
I
matter
was-
what you do, you will always be judged. No matter what you look like, somebody will always find something wrong with you. So it's like eventually you just have to throw your fingers up and say,
That's
"This is
why-
I'm doing me."
Yeah.
Okay, so we could obviously talk a little bit more. I mean,
We
of
always
course. So I guess we'll kind of have this be kind of a stopping point. We've touched on a lot of things, but I think we definitely touched on some really powerful ways that society tends to condition us to kind of away from ourselves, right? And that it's our job.
Yeah.
Right, and that we have these
Even though
negative
we're not.
associations with being ourselves because there's judgments, people trying to put boxes, and we're trying to break free out of them. So the cool thing, one of the biggest pieces of awareness I think that we touched on here is what Jazz, you had brought up about how in order to really free ourselves, in order to really liberate ourselves from the shackles of confinement and conditioning and all of that, is first being aware that we're in chains, right? And then realizing that the only person that has the keys to those chains
Is ourselves.
Right.
I used that metaphor this week.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
I was like, my chains are freaking off.
Good for you. That's so liberating.
It is.
It's so liberating. And the thing about permission is so powerful. Because, like, if we can give ourselves permission.
The only person I need permission from is myself.
The cool thing about that is the most powerful thing about us liberating ourselves is that just our example actually liberates another. Right? There's a poem by Marianne Williamson called Our Greatest Fear. So if anyone wants to look it up and bring it and read it for us.
I will read it.
Sounds
nice.
It is.
Our greatest fear?
I'm
so
feeling peer
powerful.
pressure here.
Yeah. Come on. I know best. I know what's best for you. Do what I say. So this is a really powerful conversation that, of course, is kind of just the beginning of, and we'll reference it more. But one of the things I want to kind of leave us with is the idea, and he's really bringing this home, is the idea that when we conform, when we fit the boxes, when we just robotically go through life, when we don't question, when we don't listen to our hearts and realize, like, wow, there's something within me that's saying that left is really where I should go. And the whole world is saying that you ought to turn right, but there's something in my heart that says this is your path. And for most of my life, I've been listening to everyone else. But there's this little voice that keeps saying, honey, this is your path, right? This is your path. And it'll always keep saying, this is the way, this is the way. Now, if we can follow that, then we start stepping into more of our authenticity.
Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas, show me the way.
Yeah. And
I went there, I'm sorry.
He went to Disney.
You went to Disney.
Disney.
so, let me see if I can get myself back.
Sorry.
So there's that process, right? It's the awareness of, okay, I see what you're trying to do. I see you're trying to sell me this. Okay, get it. Now there's choices, right? There's choices. There's listening. There's listening to the only voice that truly ever
Matters.
knows. Yeah, always. And the problem is that we've been, the voices of the whole world has drowned out the only voice that really truly matters, which is that inner voice, right?
Because all the other voices are so loud.
They're so loud. And all they're doing is barking everything else that we keep hearing. So if we can find ways to say, wow, thank you very much, I appreciate your opinion.
But it is bad.
It's cool. I know where to go for my answers. I know where to go for my guidance. I know where to go and have conversations that help me understand what I truly feel and want and need for myself. So when we do that, then we start stepping into more of our authenticity, right? And the exciting part, which I think is what we are so passionate about, is as we do that, then we start to connect with that passion about like, well, who am I? What am I all about? And what do I care about? And what is important to me? And how can I use my passion, my skills, my talents to actually contribute something meaningful to the world, right? For my own fulfillment, so that I'm happy as a human being and I'm doing something that makes a difference with what I love. Like, wow. If we can hold that awareness and just continue that contemplation about like, how can I use what I'm passionate about, to make a difference, just that seed, it is so powerful because it will take shape, right? And the next time we meet, we have to kind of decide on that. Should we do then the following Saturday?
Let's see what date.
What is that? The 26th?
28th, remember?
Wait, is that how we gonna end it? You're not gonna say, so this is how we gonna end
I know. I'll end
Actually,
it.
next
following?
one will be
One
the
after that?
Second.
in 3 weeks?
The second.
The second would work.
The second would work.
Yeah, second.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to explain that next time on.
Oh, I tell everybody about it, and more than even more than like what it means to me, like about the whole my ambition to change and everything. It's honestly a constant reminder of who I am because I forgot for so long, and then this came along and everything else that happened in my life, like it just happened at a perfect time. So it's like I can never forget who I am again because I have a constant reminder every time I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay, so next time we're going to be reading an excerpt from Jacob Needleman's book "Money and the Meaning of Life," which I think will be very,
this
very,
one I can't read the day of.
very rich. Yeah, that one you can't read the day of. You got 3 weeks for that one. And this is somebody that you want to go to a coffee shop, you want to get some tea.
I love it. She likes to say, you like to snuggle with.
Yeah,
You
I
just-
gotta
I just been so
Snuggle with
busy,
it.
and this one was so short.
I
So
know.
this one I'll prefer.
No, this will be really, really
No,
good.
seriously? It's okay. I'm gonna bring you some stuff from Jacob Needle.
Okay.
So that's good.
Bring it in.
Yes.
Good for episode 1.
Yeah,
Take
good for
one.
episode
I
1.
need
Thank
to
you
read
for
more.
watching. We hope that you found
Yeah,
some
and he's a good
value.
person to read.
And please join us either online or in person at our next session. We would love to have you. Thanks for watching.